So thank you everyone for joining us tonight. And for those of you that are watching this back, thank you so much for taking the time to check out a little bit more about MILSPO Social Magazine. This informational session does directly apply to issue 2. However, it's mostly going to be this information for information moving forward and in future issues. So there's Moni. So, if you come to one of these, you'll probably be able to apply the same information from this meeting to future meetings. Hi, Moni. Sorry, guys. Where is Moni? And then we got one more. Sorry, guys. The host controls are a little wonky. All right, so we got two newbies here. It looks like we have Lynn and Moni. And I'm just gonna keep on rolling. Okay, so again, if you are watching this and curious about issue 2, again, this will also apply to future issues. So once you've seen one, you've seen them all. But what is MILSPO Social Magazine? So we are a magazine specifically designed for the female military spouse or female affiliated brands or entrepreneurs, thought leaders in our space. And so much of what we do with the magazine is rooted in leadership, professional development, camaraderie. This is very much a community publication. And it's for us to not only highlight and shine a spotlight on all of the ways that we are winning, but it's also a way for us to lend a hand and hand out practical advice to other spouses that maybe are a few steps behind us and they want to follow in our footsteps. This is very much a belief system that there's no gatekeeping in this magazine. So we want to make sure that, there's enough room at the table for everyone, we can all win. And so this is so much more than just a quarterly magazine that comes out. It really is a movement. We do have a community component involved. And we have a ton of partnerships with other organizations in the military spouse space. So I love to say that we're more than a magazine. We are truly a movement. So a little bit about me. So this is not something I planned to get into. I was a high school Spanish teacher for about 13 years. And then the past 2 years, I was working in as administrator, as a dean of students. And my world got completely blown up in June of 2022. My daughter was born prematurely. And I was in the hospital in the NICU when I got the phone call that my mom had also unexpectedly died. And what's a girl to do when you're dealing with that much stress, life changes, identity crisis? I started a magazine. And that's literally how I got through it. I needed something to channel my creativity into. And as a teacher, as an educator, I was trained how to put together lesson plans and different types of activities for my students that were highly engaging. And if you can entertain a 16-year-old in 2024, I promise you can get into business, you can get into marketing, because these kids don't play these days. But anyway, with that being said, I slowly started to pivot into starting a magazine. And I've learned a lot along the way. And so when my husband decided about 2 years ago that he wanted to rejoin the military, I'm a military spouse times two times, because he was in the military when we originally got married over a decade ago in 2012. And then he got out, lived a civilian life for over a decade, and then decided, you know what, I want to get back into the military. And so this time around, I really wanted to have a better attitude about the military life. I was a bit of a Debbie Downer my first go. And I think in a lot of ways I pressured him to get out of the military. And so I knew that if I was going to find enjoyment and fulfillment in my new situation, I had to be the one to take the reins. And I think a lot of that I attribute to my grief journey and the things that I've done with my original magazine. So again, I've learned a ton. I've figured out, I guess I've cracked the code, right, on how to get all of these opportunities to get on a billboard, to get invited to news stations, to be included in different types of publications around the world. And I guess it's kind of like a copy and paste moment. I'm able to apply what I've learned the first go around with my initial magazine, which is very much still in production. And I'm going to be applying this to MILSPO Social Magazine. So that's just a little bit about me. So many people, I think, have this misconception that magazines are dead. No one reads magazines anymore, blah, 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 blah. I found that is not the case. More than ever, people are truly craving genuine human connection. And that is beyond the screen. People are looking for analog activities, something where they don't have to use their screen. And as business owners, we understand the power of storytelling and talking about our brand. The reality is your brand perception is the reality. And so basically what the customers are seeing about you and your brand and what they perceive on your website, that's, you know, their opinion, that's what it is. And so the best way, we as business owners, I think, should know this, to make yourself in a strategic position to win is to send out the message that you have an authority in your space. And one of the best ways to do that is being part of networking groups, being featured, having different types of certifications, etc. But a lot of times it's a mixture of those things. And so a magazine is a great way to kind of show off all of the things that you've accumulated that makes you an authority in this space. And so, yeah, a lot of people can say, oh, magazines are dead, but I think that the old way of doing magazines, yes, that is dead. But this new wave of magazines that are niched down and entirely relatable for people who are looking for inspiration, that is not dead. And when our initial issue came out, issue 1, it was number 2 in new releases for women in business. And so I think that just is a testimony to how important like a resource like this is, because again, we want advice and we want to hear from women like us. We don't want to hear from Kim Kardashian. I know Moni and I were literally just talking about this the other day. We don't care what the celebrities are doing. We don't care how amazing they are in their private jets. Like, that's just not our reality, right? And so that's what this magazine is for, is to highlight how everyday military spouses who half the time are juggling 10 other things while their spouse is working long hours, like, we can still do it. And so that is the purpose of this magazine. And another thing I think that's really special about this magazine is the concept of collective efficacy. And this is actually a term that every time I use it, I just laugh, because this actually came from my principal at the last school I worked at. If you look him up, he's literally a UFC fighter, 250 pounds, tattoos all over. And you would never expect that he's a high school principal. But he would always talk about this term, and it's this idea that, like, when we all buy in to what it is that we're working on together, it's bound to be a success. And so when you make it your goal to participate in this magazine and you make the investment, it is what it is. It's an investment, and you are going to put in what needs to be put in order for the magazine to be successful. You're going to share it. You're going to tell your friends. You are going to put it on your email signature, like, check out my feature in this magazine, right? And so not only are you doing that, but so are all the other women who are featured in the magazine as well. So it's not just your network that is going to see your feature. It's all of the women's network who is going to see your feature. So it's so much more than a really pretty feature. It's brand awareness. It's positioning yourself as a leader. It's expanding your reach or expanding your network. And then honestly, like, if you play your cards right and you do this the way that you should, you're going to network with the other women that are featured and find different ways to cross promote each other's work. And so if you do it the right way, I promise you that there's so many benefits that can come out of a feature in the magazine. So I think this whole concept of pay to play has a really bad connotation to it. What this is you are paying for purpose, and the reality is that not every single person that applies to the magazine is going to get selected. So we are thoughtfully curating a list of women that we feel like for this specific issue that they would, kind of jive together. It would be, we're getting stories from different backgrounds, different knowledge bases. And so basically how this works is you apply for your desired slots. We have a couple different options. There's a full feature. There is an authority building Q&A, which is a little bit shorter, but it's also more affordable. Or you can submit a contribution. And then if you are chosen, then I would reach out to you personally with next steps, whether that be setting up an interview or collecting images from you, so that way we can weave together your piece. And then throughout the entire process, what makes us stand apart from any other publication is that you are very much involved in the process. So, I just did Brits the other day, and she had a contribution that she submitted to us. And we were voice noting back and forth with each other. And I was like, oh, I have this idea. I know you have pictures. Like, what do you think about this? And she's sending me pictures. So this is very much like give and take. And I want to be able to make you shine to the best of your ability. So with that being said, it's a collaborative process, and you have so much right throughout the entire process to say, you know what, I don't like how this is worded, or can we swap this picture out? There's so much give and take here. So it's not just like you pay and I slap it together. It's not like that. Additionally, when you launch, we create a set of press or media assets for you, which is just different types of content that you can post on Instagram, LinkedIn, whatever else, what other social medias you may be using. And again, because everyone's on the same page and everyone's committed, right, to making their piece shine, the reach is so much greater. And I love that Moni's here tonight. We have established partnerships with AMC, with the Military Spouse Chamber of Commerce, Rosie Network, and Spousely. And so what that means is we have representatives from all of those organizations that also send content to us. So that way, when the magazine publishes, all of those networks also share out the magazine. So it is just a great way to kind of get all of these communities from the military spouse community in one spot and highlight all of the things that we're doing. And let's see, I'm seriously not going to be reading all of this for you. If you want, go ahead and take a screenshot on your screen. But what we're looking for, this is just truly a very comprehensive, detailed list of the type of content or the type of stories that we are trying to tell. We are wanting to tell so much more than just a simple brand story. We want to know what you've learned. We want to know your takeaways. We want to hear your pain points or the mistakes that you made so that other spouses don't make the same mistakes. We want to hear about growth, redirection, learning from others, mentorship, balancing, your ambition with your family. There are so many different topics and themes that we could cover here. And truly, I would say whatever idea that you have or an angle that you would like to run with, even try to niche that down a little bit more to ensure that the content that we are running with for the magazine is unique to you and your story and what it is that you have to offer. So if you haven't looked at issue 1 yet, I highly recommend that you do, just so you have a really good understanding of the type of stories that we feature, or the women that we feature, or the types of content that is published by others. So, and then next steps, what I would recommend that everyone does, and I can drop this in the chat as well, is go to our media kit and truly like look through all of the options, because they are tiered and they are broken down into different buckets of affordability. And so you need to decide what is right for you right now. I had some women who initially wanted a full-blown feature, and they decided, you know what, the last couple months maybe we're a little bit slow and I don't have as much marketing budget as I would like. I think this time around, I'm going to submit something, like I'm going to do a contribution. That's totally fine. Like, I understand as a business owner, things ebb and flow. And so just because you sign up for a feature doesn't mean that I'm going to hold you to it and be like, hey, this is what you said you were going to do. It just shows that that's something that you're interested in, and there's only so many slots per issue to fill. And so no biggie, we can always pivot or come back and revisit it later. So that would be my biggest recommendation for you, is to go through the media kit, look at the different options that are available to you, and then make sure that you have images. What I mean by that is I would probably have some type of branding shoot done, because we do not provide images for you. We also ask that these images not be created by AI, just because we're really trying to be transparent and really be authentic when it comes to sharing the actual women. That's not to say that sometimes our illustrations and, for example, like if we have just a written piece that's not featuring a woman, it's just featuring her ideas. We've totally used AI before to create like accompanying images, but we're asking for like headshots, things like that, that be authentic. And so if you do not have those images at this point, that does not mean you cannot participate. It just means maybe right now you're going to focus on contributing versus a feature. And we are moving quick, very fast. We are looking to publish like the first week of May. And so that is why it is so very vital that if this is something that you're interested in, you kind of just got to jump on the boat almost immediately, because the goal is to have this ready to proof like the last week of April. So we're going to keep this train moving here. I also announced on social media that the cover feature will be the leadership team and the everyday woman working over at our Riveter. And we, again, as always, have a lot of our partners that are going to be sharing some type of content in the magazine as well. And it does look like Bravery Bakehouse is also going to be with us for this issue. And we're hoping, like, fingers crossed, this is like 90% going to happen. We're going to have a launch party at our Riveter handing out copies of the magazine. So this is something that I've never done a launch party before. I've never actually done something in person before. So this is brand new to me. Super excited for it. So stay tuned. I can't promise anything, but it does look like all of the pieces of the puzzle are slowly falling into place. We just need to get some more, I guess, partners involved that are going to be able to help with giving out some of those magazines. So if this is something you're seriously considering, I would also just shout out that if you join the Insider Circle, it's $6 a month. This is not necessarily a networking group. If you're looking for specifically a networking group, I'm going to send you over to AMC for sure. This is more of a visibility group. So what that means is in between issues, you still have time to shine. So you would get included on our social media posts. I basically send out different types of pieces of content for you to collaborate in, and it's super easy to do. You just literally plug and chug on a Google form, and I create something beautiful on Canva and I post it, and not only are you tagged, but all of the other women who participate are tagged. So again, it's this idea of expanded reach. Collaboration is huge. So again, that's something that I highly recommend you look into, because for example, if you purchase a feature or you end up advertising every issue, it's basically going to pay for itself because you get the 20% off and all of that stuff. So, oh, and you get your brand name, links, all of the good stuff, your bio, that goes on our directory. So that way, if anyone's ever scrolling through there, they can see all of the different type of women that belong down there. Yes, and thank you, Britt, for bringing that up too. We are also growing a Substack, and so you also have the option to submit work, again, between issues, and you can continue to write for us in between like official issues. So it's just, again, another way to really grow your authority. So with that being said, I feel like I've just been talking everyone's ear off. I would just love to open it up for questions or conversation, or just, getting to know what you ladies are thinking about. So go ahead. If you have anything to say, feel free to unmute yourself or even drop some stuff in the chat. I need to check the chat. That's something I should do. And yeah, so curious how we're feeling. Thank you for throwing that in the media kit, Britt.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'll come off chat just to share how I launched my business last year at the end of the year and my photography business the year before, and just the exposure that I've gotten from being featured in the collaborations and also having another forum to write in has attracted a lot of people to my platforms as well. So it is definitely something that does help with visibility. And also, you're not in the trenches alone, right? You now have another set of people that you can reach out to and collaborate with and network with, like she said. So it's not network deliberately, it's sort of that secondary effect of reaching out and collaborating with, excuse me, other people who are featured. So that's another great sort of secondary benefit that's been to it as well.
Yeah, I thank you so much for bringing that up too, because when you invest in something like this, you also, and I can send you guys ideas, you don't want to just invest in it and then sit on it. You need to leverage it. And so what I mean by that is, again, when I send out the assets and I send out branding, things like that, you can literally have in your email signature, check out my feature in MILSPO Social Magazine, and you can put the little logo like in your email signature, and they click on it and it will directly get sent to your page in the magazine. So that way, again, it's like, oh, she's featured in the magazine. She, she knows what she's doing. But it's something that you can put on your website. It's something that you can turn into content on social media. It's something that you could do Instagram lives with other women who are featured in the magazine to talk about it. Like, there's just like a list of things that you can do. So it's not just a one-time payment. Like, it's literally, it will pay itself over like 20-fold if you're smart about it. So you have to learn how to leverage it. But those are all things that I can also share with the women who decide to do that, because it's PR opportunities are quite infrequently free. I'll say that. So yeah, you can pay a PR company to do a piece for you, but a lot of times it's not going to turn out like this. It's not going to be really curated with you in mind. You're just another number, another notch in their belt. They're just pumping out content. And so this is truly a much more customized, niched down way to get your name out there. I had a question about ad design. I saw that as a service. Yes. So the ad design, that's just like, yes, the cost of designing the ad, and then you still have to buy the space on top of that, correct? But a lot of times what people do is they pay for the ad design once, and then they just continue to rerun the same ad or like make little tweaks. So what I do end up doing is I send you the ad file, and it's a live file. So that way, if you do decide to reuse it or repurpose it for something else, you have it. So. Yes.
I'll come off mute. My kid just left the room, so I can tell. Sorry. It's nice to meet you and see Moni. I'm part of AMZ, but I'm new to that as well. So it's fun to just be a part of all of this. This is very exciting. So I'm excited for next steps and applying and everything. I had a question about what you see for the magazine. Will you ever go more frequently than quarterly? Where do you see it?
I think right now the demand for quarterly is just about right. That's why I think that it's really cool that we do have things in between the actual physical magazine that still allows women to stay connected. So the Substack is slowly growing, and I think that that will be huge. But I do see myself also doing a lot of the things that I've done for my other magazine for this. I don't want to overpromise and underdeliver, so I'm going to keep it close to my heart for now, but there are just so many things that I've been involved with, and I'm like, okay, yes, we can do this here too. So I'm really excited about it, and I do see it kind of getting its chance to shine. So, but yeah, I think quarterly for now is for sure where we're going to remain.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just amazing what you've done with. I got the magazine right when Moni had shared it on social media. It's really beautiful. So I don't know if you have a big team and do it on your own.
It's just me.
Yeah, you do an amazing job. So
thank you. Yeah, it's definitely designed for female gaze. I call this magazine my palette cleanser because it's totally different than my other magazine. And it's fun and it's girly and it grounds me into the things that I also am interested in that's not always grief related, which can be exhausting to talk about all the time. So yeah.
Yeah, another outlet. So
yeah, for sure.
Good job. Yeah.
I don't know if there's any other questions.
Can I jump in really quick? Hi. Hey, so here's my thing. Oh, so you're recording this, so this is really good, you guys. So here's the thing too, this is an incredible opportunity. Kara pretty much said everything that's I would say and better, especially for this publication. But the additional thing you want to make sure you're prepared is for the secondary and tertiary effects of doing this. What do your funnels look like? Do you have your appointment links ready? All of those things are really, really important. You don't want to waste this opportunity, like Kara said, be sharing it. So make sure you have an email list prepared. I don't care if you have 2 people on your damn email list, send it to your email list. I don't care if you have 5 people on your social, make sure you're following it. But what is the follow on? Yeah, you want people to say oh, this is great, congratulations. But what's next? We want to get people to learn more about Courtney, to learn more about working with Brittany or purchasing her products and different services. So make sure you have those things, maybe a special discount, if you purchase the magazine, blah, 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 or use this discount code, blah, blah, blah. Those are the types of things that I think often sometimes get forgotten. Sharing it is great. What does the funnel look like? What does the follow-up look like? And staying consistent. And Kara's been really good about doing that. So if you've been following her, you'll see she published it, but then there's follow-up and there's continuum, she's building her funnel, her email list, her circle, all of that stuff. So just to be very mindful of that, because you don't want to miss these opportunities. So you never know what can happen from that if somebody reads your article, or your publication, whatever it is. So I wanted to say that because I work with these spouses and they have every good intention. And then I'm okay, so what happens after the workshop? Well, what do you need? I'm well, where are you selling people? What are we sending them? What are we selling? So just have to be mindful. As really great opportunity, but it's just not writing the articles, submitting pretty words with a pretty picture. It's you want to maximize it.
Yes, you have to leverage. And we're going to have to do a leveraging workshop. I feel like you can lead that. You're better with that stuff than
People forget it. They're just oh, I did this thing. And then they're just oh, I'm yeah, so what happens after?
Yeah, I mean, and this has happened, across the board where sometimes people will pay for a feature and then they don't even talk about it. And I'm well, what was the point of that? Because
they're not prepared. They're not prepared or they're scared.
Yeah.
What's happening here?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so that's something to keep in mind is that you're doing this for a reason, to amplify your message and to amplify your business. And there is no shame in self-promotion. And so that is something that everyone needs to get comfortable doing, because you're not going to grow unless you do that. So
Yeah, I want to add too that it's not just the military community. Like obviously the magazine is for us, it's for each other, it's written by us, it's distributed for us. But you'd be surprised how many people on the outside are really trying to understand the perspective from the inside. So if you feel like this is going to be some kind of closed marketing that's only going to reach out to the military spouse community, you'd be very surprised. I can attest to like friends and family who aren't in the military who have bought the magazine, read the articles, had epiphany moments, and now they're talking about it. So it's not just for consumption within our community. It really is a perspective project that helps the outside world understand us. And better yet, for people who are trying to, kind of like similar with the Spousely platform, be aware of the businesses that they're engaging with, it does help them have that agency in deciding that, oh, I'd really actually like to support a military spouse in their business. And we effectively have a directory in every issue that helps people find us.
yeah, 1000%. Any other questions, thoughts, jokes?
I'll hop in.
Yeah, hi, Sarah.
Nice to meet you, and hi, Moni. I miss you. I just want to say thank you so much for creating this, and I'm so excited. I'm still in the beginning stages of my business, but now that I'm finally moved, I'm getting settled, and I'm like building those blocks to get there. And I wanted to hop on this call because this is something that I would like to do down the line for sure. And I'm just learning at this point, and I need to work on my funnels and all those stages as I'm finalizing my portfolio, and I'm getting ready to really reach out for clients. So yeah, this is really exciting, and I'm so glad to hear that it's not just for the military community, that it is expanding. I loved issue 1. And I'm just so excited for the future of this magazine and for all that you're doing and for all that we're all doing in our businesses and where we can go from here. So I just wanted to say hi.
No, thank you so much. And I just, I've learned that there's so much power in collaboration and surrounding yourself with the type of people that you foresee for yourself. Like, you want to be a successful business owner, well, then be friends with one, right? Like, that was my immediate response when I said I was going to start a magazine. I went straight to the top. I like sent Moni an email. I was like, hey, let's set up a call. I want to talk to you, you know? And so there is, shoot your shot. You network with people, you talk to them, get to know them, invest in them. And that would be like my biggest piece of advice is you find a way to work with others, highlight the work of others, learn from others, and it will pay dividends for sure. So anyone else? All right, I think we're good. Well, I genuinely appreciate everyone's involvement, participation, attendance. I was not quite sure how many people were showing up. And so I think this was like actually a very pleasant surprise. It was a little bit more than I was anticipating. And I'm really excited to also send this out to the few women that reached out to me personally and said, well, I'm not gonna be able to make it, but please send me the video. So if you're watching this, hi. And again, go to the media kit. I know that Britt had just sent it. It is on our website. But that there, I don't like breaking down costs and things like that for you guys. That is for you guys to decide, think about on your own. And from there, yeah, just let me know. Go ahead and apply or join the circle. And yeah, the options are all there. Choose your own adventure. So thank you so much, ladies. And I'm looking forward to connecting and chatting with you all soon.
Thank you, Kara. Bye, guys.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Nice to meet you.
Have a great night.
You.
You too.
Bye.